Welcome back to PlanBri Uncut, brought to you by High Noon, my favorite drink, my best friend. Got me through dark times, got me through happy times, there with me for my celebrations, through everything. High Noon is there. It's amazing. There's a flavor for everyone. High Noon is under 100 calories. Okay, skinny. Made with real spirits and natural flavors and is available in vodka seltzer, tequila seltzer, and a non-carbonated vodka iced tea. There's literally something for everyone. You don't want the bubbles, get the vodka iced tea. You don't like vodka, get the tequila seltzer. You don't like tequila, get the vodka seltzer. And there's a million flavors. Like seriously, a flavor for everyone. I love High Noon so much. Everything in this episode is brought to you by High Noon. Visit highnoonspirits.com to find a pack near you. What's up, my degenerates? Oh my gosh, that feels so good to say again. Welcome back to another episode of PlanBri. Week 2, we're back. This episode, I have a few things I need to get off my chest in the beginning, but the whole entire episode is going to be 26 things that I've learned in 26 years of life. Some of them are silly, but also necessary. Some of them are going to feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like I knew this or I've heard this before. But when I talk about it, I think it's important to really hone in and listen to these things. I feel like I've lived a lot of life in my 26 years. I am very lucky to do a lot of crazy things and get a lot of opportunities that I think people see throughout their whole entire lifetimes in my short 26 years here so far. So I do think I have a lot of lessons to share with you. I think I've made a lot of mistakes and I've learned from them. And I think 26 lessons in 26 years is good to start off with for episode 2. And it's just shit that I've kind of always talked about, but never really had the space to really hone in on the things. But to begin with, if you guys ever want to feel like a fucking idiotic moron, go to an escape room with Brianna. So, couple life updates. My Megan, she is my cousin. I live with her. She also, this is just another problem with the world right now. She has her undergrad, she got her bachelor's degree in biology, right? She went to Brandeis University, which is an amazing school, insane school. The smartest of the smarts go here, right? It's nearly an Ivy League school. And she's right now getting her master's in coding. So she moved to New York City. She's getting her master's in coding. And she, for the past how long have we been living here? Together? 7 months, I want to say, maybe 8, has been applying to jobs all day long, every single day, all day long, just applying to jobs. And she finally got one interview. She went to sit down for the interview. Nobody showed up. She got scheduled for it. Nobody showed up for the interview. So she's like, okay, she followed up with an email. They never got back to her. She's like, okay, that's not going to happen. Then she gets this interview for a company that she absolutely love. She's so excited for it. It's exactly what she wants to do in her field with data science, also mixed with biology, just something so perfect for her. And of course, if she didn't get the job, that'd be fine. But she did 2 interviews for the hiring process. And then she had a 3rd interview, which she was going to do a presentation. She worked really hard on the presentation. She was practicing. She was so sick over it just because anything that you do, especially presenting in front of a new company's CEOs, a whole board that you haven't met, trying to bet on getting a job. She was terrified, as we all would be. And the day before her interview, the 3rd interview, the panel interview, she gets an email that's like, hey, Megan, thank you so much for these past 2 interviews and all of the effort and time in the presentation, but we are actually not going to be hiring until next year. So never mind, we took the 3rd job off of your Google Calendar and we're not hiring anymore. It was so devastating. I felt so bad for her. And it just we kind of went into a spiral because I started talking to all my friends are not influencers. They don't do crazy jobs like me. They're not in this industry. They all have regular 9-to-5s. And the market is just so bad right now. The economy is horrible and it's impossible to get a job. Everyone's getting laid off and it's really scary. So if you're being affected by that, know that you're not alone, and majority of people are experiencing the same thing, especially in New York City right now. Hopefully things will get better. But with that being said, with Megan, she was devastated. So we were like, how do we cheer her up and how do we get her out of this? Me and my friend Harry, let's do an escape room. We've never done an escape room in our lives. We thought it would be fun. We thought it would be another activity other than drinking. So We go to the escape room. We're in the easiest level of the escape room. And I don't want to sound, just like bear with me with this right now. So we go into the escape room and there's like a bunch of people in there like waiting, and we don't want to do an escape room with people because that's one, fucking horrifying. Two, why the hell would you ever want to do like an escape room with strangers? That's terrifying. No. So we're sitting there. If they come in and we're like, oh fuck, we don't want to do this with other people, so we decide to wait an extra 30 minutes in the waiting room so that we can do an escape room alone. And it's also it's a solo escape room, like it will just be us three. And then a group of kids come in with like their moms. It's a bunch of autistic Boy Scouts. Like it was like an autistic Boy Scout group. And they all come in and they're doing the level above us. And they're like, but they're boys. They're like maximum 11, 12. Only one parent is going in with them. I think she was like the troop leader. They're so cute. We're talking to them. They're like so excited. They're doing the Jurassic World one, where it's like dinosaurs, and we're doing the level below. So we both go in at the same time. We're in separate rooms. We couldn't even finish. We were in there for an hour, didn't even get close to the end. We were screaming at each other. Me and Megan had a fight where I thought she was going to have to move out. We were never going to recover from it. We were getting so angry with each other. We couldn't figure anything out. And it turns out that the Boy Scout group that is 11 years old, they got out 40 minutes before us. So that was also a really big bummer. We were like, holy shit, we are grown adults. We're not in the Boy Scouts, and we couldn't make it out. So that was heartbreaking. Sorry, now I have headphones on, guys. I was just literally, I had such bad ADHD. Hannah's like in the corner, just typing on her laptop, like normal typing sounds. And that's all I could focus on was the typing sounds. I felt like I couldn't even talk to you. That's also another struggle I'm going through right now, is like my ADHD is at an all-time peak. Don't know what to do about it. Anyway, couldn't figure out this goddamn fucking escape room. It was humiliating. They gave us every single clue. I'm not joking. They gave us every single clue. We still couldn't crack the codes. We still couldn't do it. And when he came in, we were unaware that this was the lowest level that you could do at the escape room. So when he comes in, we're like, man, like that totally had to have been like one of the hardest rooms, right? He's like, no, this is actually the room with the least amount of puzzles. So this is actually the easiest room. And then he told us that the Boy Scouts made it out 40 minutes before us. So, of course, we were humiliated. We went to dinner and we tried to cheer Megan up. It sucks so bad to see your friend or someone you love like genuinely distraught or upset over something when it's so out of your control and you can't do anything. Like, there's just nothing I can do. There's no one I can reach out to. There's no job I can get her. And it pains me to see any of my friends going through something and I can't help in any way, shape, or form. So we thought the escape room would help. It didn't. It actually made things a lot worse. And then we went to dinner and we ate too much and we said, we're not allowed to take an Uber home. We're not allowed to take the subway home. We must walk home. So we walked an hour and a half home. We felt a little bit better. And then we watched the John Wayne Gacy files, which I can't stop watching. Anyway, two other things that I want to cover before we get into the 26 things I wish I knew before 26. If you go by the name Jack Doherty, you are a loser, lowlife piece of shit, and you deserve absolutely none of the success that you get. You deserve none of the views that you get. You deserve nothing of the caliber that you are at. I didn't watch the full thing because it just recently came out and I honestly didn't have the time, but I watched majority of the clips, majority of the stories from his ex-girlfriend McKinley's podcast with Camilla, and it just touched really close to home. If you guys relate to my story at all and my podcast back in the day on BFFs, the big podcast, you know what I'm talking about, helped you, I would highly recommend going and watching this episode that McKinley did on Camilla's podcast, or at least watching the clips and the stories because they're like 10 minutes long on TikTok. It's so crazy to see the aftermath of all of the things that came out about Jack Doherty. If you're like confused or you don't know who these people are, he's a streamer. His girlfriend came forward with just horrible, horrible stories about how much he tortured her, how awful he was, how much of like a sociopathic narcissist he was, abused her in so many different ways. she was sexually assaulted by his friend, and he just let it happen, watched it, would stream things after. He was addicted to Adderall, and she talks about that in the podcast. And his answer, his rebuttal was he then bought an Adderall cake and mocked it at the club after she just sat down on a 2-part podcast, like being so vulnerable and open about what she endured. And he, in return, bought an Adderall cake and ate it at the club, and then posts with his new girlfriend who was screaming, "Fuck you, McKinley. You're a lying bitch. You're a piece of shit," because her head is obviously being twisted by him too. Like, we know how this goes. And then he goes on a podcast and says, "I wish her nothing but love, and we had a beautiful relationship," but he can't make eye contact with anyone in the room or the camera. So if you are unfamiliar with Jack Doherty, make sure to look him up and go spread hate to him because he deserves it. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. Oh, stop climbing Mount Everest. What the fuck is everyone doing climbing Mount Everest? If I see one more video about the Mount Everest shit, I'm going to lose my mind. So essentially, you have to pay $200,000 to climb Mount Everest. It is just a flash of money. You pay these people that do multiple expeditions, that work for the mountains, that are poor, that are working off of like pennies from all of the money that you're giving towards this expedition, to carry your things, to risk their lives, to nearly die, to die, and you're in pain. Like the people that were trapped in Mount Everest, it's so idiotic and insane. It's like an extreme flash of wealth with also no, like, there's just, you have no sense of reality. Why are you putting yourself through that? Why are you letting people die? Because here's the thing on these expeditions, you pay so much, and if someone is to fall while climbing Mount Everest, you have to just let them fall and let them die. Because if you get hurt, you lose your expedition, you lose your money, you lose everything that you put into it. This isn't a Mount Everest expedition podcast, but if you're looking for a new rabbit hole to go down the Mount Everest rabbit hole. It's a dark, weird, cynical hole, and it's just like climbing Mount Everest is optional. Let's not do it. All right, guys, quick commercial break. This is for my students. I know there's a lot of you guys listening right now. It's big news. There's a new membership program, and it's just for you, just for my students. If you're heading back to campus this fall, Uber One for students is the best way to save on food and rides. Plus, it comes with a lot of perks you might not know about. So there's $0 delivery fees. There's up to 10% off eligible orders and 6% back in Uber credits on rides. So if you're a student, this is a no-brainer, okay? You're in school, you're getting your education, use that brain as this no-brainer and get Uber One, okay? You can also get free items on eligible orders throughout the week, like a free taco from Taco Bell every Tuesday. Hello, that's amazing. You can also get a free chicken sandwich from Popeyes every Friday, and more deals for every day of the week from brands that you love. You can try it out now and get your first 4 weeks free. You can become an Uber One for Students member and start saving on Uber and Uber Eats. Eligibility and member terms apply. Okay, also, before we get into it, I want to touch a little bit on this episode of Special Forces that is coming out, or that has already come out this week, episode 4. I haven't watched it yet, but I lived it. So I just want to say this was probably the hardest day of my life, or maybe the most challenging mentally for me. I didn't know that I was so claustrophobic. I didn't know that I was so scared of like being in dark, small places, because when the fuck have I been in a dark, small place? Or like I was never in a crawl space before with bombs going off and people screaming at you. So you will see me have a full panic attack on this episode. You will see probably majority of the cast nearly tap out, and lose their mind. I just want to commend Johnny Manziel for his season, his performance this season. He tapped out on this episode, and it was really sad because I didn't even know that he tapped out. Once you tap out, you're like gone, and you don't get to say bye to any of the castmates. You don't have to like come back to the camp. It's just like you grab your things, you leave, you're off the show. They send you back to America. And I didn't get to say bye to him, but he faced a lot of his fears on the show. I think he was very vulnerable, and he opened up more than kind of anyone else on the show. So I just want to commend him for his season. He did amazing, and I was really sad to watch him go. But if you guys do watch this episode, you will see that I am an absolute fucking badass. And Q, one of the staff, calls me Tomb Raider because I descended from 300 feet above the ground on a rope like a literal Navy SEAL. Like all of the propelling challenges, like going out of the helicopter, going down the dam, crawling across. You guys haven't seen this shit yet, but we like go from peak to peak on a mountain on a rope. We like dive off of, we free dive, back dive off of a cliff, like all of that shit. I was like, let's go. Put me in a tunnel. I cry my eyes out and I almost tap out, but they like didn't let me, which I'm really happy about, but I'm also a little confused about because I would be like, I can't do this. And they were like, yes, you can. So they saw something in me that I didn't know I had, and I'm so grateful for it. So that's the Special Forces update. I'm also a little bit scared about everything I said towards Cody Brown last episode, just because we are planning a reunion and I will have to see him again. And I said a lot of mean things about him on the last episode, and I don't take any of them back. I just I would rather not have a confrontation with him because he scares me. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to go through some of these fast. I'm going to also sit on them, a couple of them for longer than others. Number 1 of 26 things that I've learned in 26 years. 1, put the vape down. You cocksucker motherfucker. Like if I could go back to the first time that I hit a Juul or I hit nicotine when I was 16 years old and I could never do it, or I could never like go out and buy my own, I would give $1 million to not have this vape attached to me. Do you know how humiliating it is to be a grown-up, a 26-year-old grown-up that can't put her vape down, like that constantly has to go take vape breaks? Like now I try to vape in secrecy, which is like, I know that it's really bad. If you have to do anything in secrecy, it's a bad thing. I'll like go to the bathroom. Like this morning, I did press all morning and I was doing these interviews, and I would go to the bathroom, not to go to the bathroom, but to hit my vape. That's bad. Also, it's aging me progressively. It makes me feel like shit, and it's so impossible to quit. Like it's genuinely one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I've done it a few times and I go right back to it. So I guess I really haven't quit. I've only done it for like 27 days consecutively. If you have the chance to put it down before you're extremely addicted, please put it down. It's so embarrassing. Nothing is cool about a vape. Number 2, nothing is permanent. And this sounds like so obvious and so just straightforward. Nothing is permanent. But I remember in there's so many instances in my life where I felt like things were permanent. And I'm also going to put in a clip that I've never shown. I've never posted. When I was going through like the darkest time of my life last year, I really urged myself to make video diaries. And I was doing that for a multitude of reasons. I started making video diaries when I was in like a bad relationship to try to get myself to leave. I would like keep telling myself reasons and why. And then finally, when it was over, it was this whole other process of grief and just like sadness and darkness. And in those moments, they felt so permanent and so forever. And even in these videos, I'm going to put this clip in now. I hope I can look back at this video one day and like just want to hug this girl, because hopefully I'm okay. Everything right now, just like everything feels so deafening. Like everything and my life feels like it's crashing, and I feel like I thought that what I was feeling was never going to change. And I knew if I took my camera out and I recorded it, I would have documentation on how badly I felt. And then when I watched it in the future, even if I felt slightly better, or if I found slightly a difference in like the way I was thinking about things, I could document like my change and that things weren't permanent. It's so hard when you're stuck in those times that it feels like it's genuinely never going to get better and there's no other side of it. And I was in it. So I know it's so easy for someone to like look at you is when you're at your lowest point and they're like, time heals all. It gets better. I promise. But like truly that trend on TikTok where it's like girls talk about losing their spark and finding it again and ask me about it like I don't know ball. And like guys, I know ball. If you just watch that video, you know I do. Especially for the younger audience. I just remember the way that I would feel about myself and about my future when I was unsure in high school or college. And it feels like impending doom constantly. And there's always going to be highs and lows, but nothing is permanent. And that also, in a dark way, is also true for like the happy feelings or like the amazing feelings. Something that really helped me put into perspective what I'm trying to say is, and I don't want to always bring it back to her, but she really did like change my perspective on a lot of things or like open my eyes to how I view the world is Taylor Swift's song Evermore. So the song is just so the way that it's written and the way that it starts. So the lyric in the beginning is not is I had a feeling so peculiar that this pain would be forevermore. And it's when you're feeling so dark after getting out of something that you love so much that it's just like forever you're going to feel like that. And then it goes through the whole storyline of the song and of heartbreak. And then the last like closing lyric is I had a feeling so peculiar this pain wouldn't be forevermore. And that's just like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And the whole time you're thinking like, while you're listening to this song is that this beautiful love, it's never going to last. It's like everything beautiful dies. And then it translates back into like a full circle of, well, everything ugly also dies and the pain isn't going to be forevermore. So if you're ever feeling like it's going to be forevermore in any sense, listen to Evermore by Taylor Swift. And I also want to do a whole episode on like a guide into Taylor Swift and how to become a Swiftie because you guys always ask me for it. And I think I've nailed it down to the T. Okay. Next we have number 3. If you don't practice time management, you will literally never learn it. I didn't practice time management in college and it fucked me like stupendously. If you don't practice something over and over and create a regimen and create a routine, then you're simply never going to have those qualities that you want. Anything is just a practice of repetition and we're creatures of habit. So you have to continue to work those things in. And if you don't, you're never going to have it. Without time management, you're never going to be successful. 4, this one is something that kind of changed my life and I learned it pretty young, which I'm grateful for, is don't try to be liked by everyone. Another Taylor Swift lyric, though, is a friend to all is a friend to none. And that couldn't be more true of a statement. I think this goes back to high school where I really saw myself falling for this. I would try to change myself in settings to be liked by certain girls. I would try to have people that I didn't necessarily even agree with or think were funny or nice, but I knew they were popular or I knew other people liked them. So I wanted so badly for them to like me as if that was going to be a reflection of who I was. And when you start changing yourself for people and you're trying to be liked by the masses, you have no authenticity. You have like no 2 feet or stable ground to stand on because you're just a mirror of whatever is in front of you. You're not yourself. And it's so apparent. Like you can scroll on social media, and I say social media because we all have it, and it's like a common denominator in all of our lives. Like you can scroll and tell if someone's genuine and not within like 5 videos of watching their things or listening to their podcasts or watching them on reality TV. It's pretty easy to tell who is trying to play a character and trying to be liked by everyone. The same thing in real life. Like we all have that one friend that just puts on a show or says certain things in front of certain people that they wouldn't in front of others and changes their personality. It's just like, who even are you? Just be yourself. It's weird to be liked by everyone. That means that you have like no conflicting opinions because that would mean that people would have to disagree with you and they wouldn't like you. Like, how could everyone agree with you and how could everyone like you? They don't think there's one person on earth that everyone likes, besides maybe Timothée Chalamet. But there might be some people that don't, you know? I see a lot of people hate on him because he dates Kylie Jenner, which is like crazy to me because that's my favorite couple. Okay. 5, I'm going to sound like a grandma, and I've honestly never admitted this out loud. Just don't get the tattoos. Like, they're so fun and they're so cool and they're so meaningful in the moment and you love them. And then you're not going to anymore. Like, I love my hand tattoos. There are about 5 tattoos on my arm that I cannot stand to look at. And granted, some of them are like matching tattoos with people. First of all, never get a matching tattoo with a significant other, let alone like just never get a matching tattoo with a significant other. It's a curse, and it's also just a bad idea. Even if you're married, like, I just don't think it's ever a good idea. Also, I went through a phase where like I had blue hair, I had purple hair, I had pink hair. I dressed very differently than I do now. I wasn't trying to be professional in any way, shape, or form. I was kind of just like a punk, I guess. And that reflected in the way that I dressed and like the way that I accessorized. So some of the tattoos I got, like, they're so stupid, right? Like, I'm not saying that tattoos are unprofessional. Mine are. Like, I have a mango ollieing on a skateboard on my arm. Like, I have a stack of pancakes on my arm. And when I'm personally going to speak on a panel at Forbes or at the World Government Summit in Dubai, I'd rather not have a pancake on my arm for people to be like, all right, I can't take this girl seriously. Because whether we like it or not, people do judge you based on your appearance, and it could be a make or break. So just like double think the tattoos or put them in spaces that you can hide. Because I'm thinking about lasering off half of the tattoos on my arm, which is just a whole nother nightmare. It takes forever. Okay. 6, this was the death of me for probably 20 years, was comparing my looks to every single person that I came in contact with, comparing my looks to every single person in my family, whether I'd be like, my cousin's prettier than me, my sister's prettier than me, my mom's prettier than me. I have this feature of my dad that I don't like and I want to change. Why does this cousin, why is she so much shorter than me? And why is this one have a better body? Or in high school, all I would do is like look on Tumblr or look on Instagram, look at YouTube videos, and I wouldn't even be consuming the content that was meant to be consumed. I would be staring at the way that these girls looked and the way that these girls dressed and the way that their bodies were. And I just absolutely lost all of my self-confidence. And it's crazy, right? Because like when you look at other people and you're always thinking about what other people look like or how you can compare yourself to them, like you would think you would start to form like your own sense of confidence in who you are and what you look like. But when you're constantly just holding yourself to a standard that isn't you, it breaks you down where you're never going to be comfortable in your own skin. And it took me up until probably 25 to be like, okay, this is what I look like. I'm so lucky. This is the hottest I'm ever going to be. I would look back at old photos when I thought I was so ugly, and I would compare myself to people on Instagram or girls in my grade. And I was like, she was so pretty, like talking about myself, but I didn't appreciate it. And it always reminds me of this scene from One Day where Emma was like, I was so beautiful in my 20s, but I never appreciated it. And Dex was like, well, I always appreciated it. And she was like, sometimes you did, sometimes you didn't. And I think that shows how much worth you put on other people and their perception of you and how it internalizes how you look on yourself. Like Emma looked back at herself and was like, holy shit, I was so beautiful. Like I really was. But she, the whole time, didn't find herself beautiful because she didn't think that Dex was looking at her in that way. She was putting so much pressure on male attention or centering it around what other people had to say about her or how they felt she looked. And when she grows up, and she's like, damn, I'm aging, or I'm looking a different way, or she's coming to herself. She's like, holy shit, I was gorgeous, but I put all of the pressure on what other people thought about me. So that one, Jesus, I wish I learned that a lot younger, because that ruined a lot of my years in high school and in college. All throughout college, all I did was compare myself to my friends, my roommates, like any girl that I saw on campus. I was just like always comparing and comparing. And it's such a bad cycle. And it gives you body dysmorphia. It gives you eating disorders. Like, it's not worth it. We're all going to die, genuinely. And your mom probably loves you. And if she doesn't, I'm sure that there's someone that loves you. So if someone loves you, that means you're beautiful. The next one kind of goes into the same field as that. 7 is changing for a man or changing for a friend. I don't like when people are chameleons, where they can kind of just not fit in everywhere. Because I think there are people that can walk into any room and like light it up, or walk into any room and people will really enjoy their presence and they're completely themselves. But the way that people act changes in a room is weird to me. Like, you should always be the same person you are in every single room that you're in. Like, you should never try to mimic other people's ideas or their personality or their humor. I just think you should always be who you are in every single room, because then you're unwaveringly you. Like, there's no shaking it. It's like, yes, this is me. I'm not a different person when I'm with that friend group than I am with this friend group. Of course, you can have different interests, and like, sure, this is my pottery friend group. This is my drinking friend group. This is my book club. Yeah, sure, but that's all the same version of yourself. You just shouldn't change for anyone. And especially for a man, if you see yourself changing the way you dress for a man, even if it's like you think you're doing it for yourself, you're like, oh, well, I kind of want to respect him. I don't think I should wear this shirt. You should never have someone in the back of your head making decisions for you, making you subconsciously think that you're doing it for yourself, when in reality, you're just doing it for them. And I did that for so long. It's like, well, is he going to like this? I think that he would like this style better, so I'm going to wear this style. Or he would tell me he likes this and hates that on me, so I'm going to completely stick to this. And then all of a sudden, you don't recognize yourself anymore. So I think those two kind of go hand in hand. 8, this one might be like controversial, but forgiveness is not always the answer. I think that people can do things to you and harm you or be detrimental in your life to the point where they aren't owed forgiveness, and you don't have to forgive them and accept them back into your life. I kind of think forgiveness is this thing where you're taught you should forgive everyone. You should turn the cheek and be the bigger person and just kind of let people steamroll you. And you don't have to. You should create boundaries for yourself. And sure, if you within yourself want to be like, I forgive them for what they did, but you don't have to sit this person down and be like, I forgive you for all the atrocities that you've committed against me, whether it be in a friendship, a relationship, a family member. You don't have to forgive people. And I think like not forgiving people that don't deserve it is protecting your own peace. And I've forgiven a lot of people way too many times, where it's like people don't make mistakes 3 times. That's a pattern. That's who they are. They're not willing to change. And if you keep forgiving and forgiving, you get steamrolled and people walk all over you. So I truly don't think forgiveness is something that everyone deserves, or something that you should give anyone that hurts you. I think you should protect your peace and like forgive where it's right, but I just don't think it always is. 9 is journaling. I wish so badly that I started journaling when I was younger. And I'm talking like, I wish I just kept a diary of every single thing I had ever done. I would journal here and there, like in my suicide journal in high school. Like, there's like journals in my house. The only time that I would ever journal in high school was like when I'm like, yeah, this is the end of the road for me. Like, I absolutely can't be here anymore. Like, so dark, so dramatic. This goes back to number 2, like nothing is permanent. And you just find all those letters and it's like, okay, 14, here's the saddest letter in the world. 16, oh, she's happy. She like likes a boy. 17, here's the saddest letter in the world. Like, I wish I just kept a consistent journal so that I could look back at it and like really reflect on your life. Of course, we have digital footprints and videos and such, but keep a journal. Even if you start now, like I religiously started journaling probably 2.5 years ago. I'll link another book, which is the guide to journaling that has changed my life. In so many ways, it teaches you how to like journal correctly where it's productive and you're actually helping your mental health and also like learning things about yourself rather than just being like, this is what I did today. I'll link it in the description of the YouTube video, but it changed the way that I journal. It changed the way that you think, like, and before you speak, like you start thinking about things that you say, you start having more empathy and just sympathy towards yourself, towards others when you journal correctly. So I wish so badly I started journaling other than the suicide notes in high school. I wish I started like actually journaling. Start today, start tomorrow, but actually start journaling. And it's something that you can always look back on and give to your kids as well. And it's like all that's really left of you when you're gone are your words. So write them out. And in a journal, you feel like it's like the most personal place where you can actually say what's on your mind. All right, guys, quick commercial break for Game Time. We can't wait for all the amazing concerts coming up this fall, but what we don't want to think about is the hassle of buying tickets. I genuinely do. I hate buying tickets. I feel like it's always hard, but not with Game Time. It's actually saved my life. We want to focus on the music, not the cost, not the stress. So Game Time puts the power back in the hands of the fans. If you need a go-to hack for scoring amazing tickets and unforgettable experiences in just a few taps, it's incredibly easy to use, and its Game Time guarantee means you can trust that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and the best price. I've used other websites millions of times before where I've gotten to the concert and they're fake tickets. So this is 100% guaranteed that you're getting real tickets on Game Time. None of those funny business, all right? And plus fees are always included. So what you see is what you pay. There's nothing secretive about it. I was just looking at Gunna, my main man. He did repost me 5 times on TikTok. I don't know if you're aware. So he's my best friend, but he does have a concert in November coming up, $79 for a Gunna ticket, lowest price. Are you serious? I'm bringing all my friends to Gunna. Do you guys want to come to Gunna with me? Let's go to Gunna, and then maybe he'll repost us again. Make sure to take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PlanBri for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, you can create an account and redeem code PLANBRI for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go download the Game Time app today. Number 10, learn how to public speak. This is something that I didn't learn how to do until my second year at Barstool. I was the girl in school that would take zeros because I didn't want to speak in front of my class. I would shake like a leaf. I wouldn't show up to school. I would fake sickness. I would actually get sick. I failed so many assignments because I wouldn't public speak. When I got to college, I was humiliated in the way that everyone could public speak. Everyone can get up in front of a classroom. They could command a room, and I would shake and I would cry, and it made me feel stupid. It made me feel like I wasn't going to succeed, because you look at like everyone that you look up to, they have a speech somewhere, right? They have like videos of them public speaking. They like know how to command a room. And then I'm like, holy shit, I just do not have that quality. I just don't have access to that attribute. I don't know where to find it. I don't know how to get it. And I was so set in stone that because I felt that way when I was like in high school and in college, that wasn't something that I could learn, or it wasn't something that I could get over, was my fear of public speaking. And it's not true. Like I'm not joking. I used to cry and take zeros. And now like I can go in front of a room of thousands of people and like stand on stage and actually speak eloquently, know what I'm saying, have my train of thought, not be thinking about what other people are thinking of me. And the only way that I did that was through trials and tribulation. I would do it over and over and over again. I would keep putting myself out there. Even when I was uncomfortable, I would do it scared. I was petrified. I was shaking. And then all of a sudden the shakes start going away. You start getting better at it. And if you get past the fear of being cringe and just throw yourself on the other side of that, there's genuinely a whole other world waiting for you out there. Like if you just lose the trait of feeling embarrassed or feeling like you're being cringe, like just throw yourself out there. We all like want the same things and like we just want to succeed. So just try. And people are going to judge you for what, a moment, 2 weeks at most. Like no one's going to think about you more than they think about themselves. Everyone's in their own head. And once I started really realizing that and trying and trying and trying and embarrassing myself, you just kind of get used to it. You're like, oh, I felt a little bit embarrassed. That's fine. It's not a big deal. And then all of a sudden you don't have the trait of being embarrassed anymore. And being able to public speak has changed my life in so many ways because now I can talk to a brick wall. I could talk to anyone. I know how to walk into a room and assert myself in any situation and conversation. And it's just a really, really important skill to have in your life. And it rolls over into so many other important social skills. So if there's one thing I could say is like take that public speaking class in high school, take that debating class, do theater, do like the shit that is embarrassing to do because all that shit ends up being the cool stuff when you get older, genuinely. 11, drinking isn't cool. I think I spent so much of my college years like thinking drinking was the coolest, funnest thing in the world. And of course it is. Like I love to party, I love to drink, but like it doesn't have to be your personality trait. And I fell victim. Like it was my personality trait, which because it was my personality. Like that's all I did. All I did was party. My life revolved around partying. Granted, I made a living off of it, so it kind of like was my life. But I look back on it and I'm like, holy shit, I wish I spent at least half of my time doing something more productive and also not talking about it so much. I think like my audience especially, you probably were here for the beginning of PlanBri and you did think it was cool and funny when we used to talk about it and we used to do it all the time, but we've outgrown that. And now like you're probably my age or older and we've just like gotten out of that or younger. And you're like, yeah, it's like not cool to glamorize like going out and getting fucked up with hours upon end, like every single weekend. It's just the same song and dance. There's nothing good that comes out of it. I think here and there, like it's fun to party and sure on the weekends, go get drinks with your friends and like have fun. I still definitely have fun on the weekends and I'll go out, I'll go to concerts, I'll stay out until 3 a.m. But like the shit that I used to do where I would roll into benders from like 5 days long where I just like didn't sleep and partied until the sun came up and then like slept for 7 hours and then did it again. It's embarrassing. Like there's nothing cool about it. And I even see like people still like my age or older online, like glamorizing that lifestyle. And it's just not cool. It's fun, but it's not cool. Like there's a difference. Sure. I can have a lot of fun and there's a lot of good stories that come from it. And I don't think I'd be the same person if I didn't party like I used to and still party like I do a little, but I just don't think it's cool. Like it's nothing fun comes out of talking about it unless there's like a really fun story. Like drinking isn't that cool. And like I feel like my life used to revolve around partying. And I'm like, ugh, embarrassing. But that's what you learn. 26 years, we're getting older, we're getting wiser. 12, money shouldn't be your one and only motivating factor. You need a sense of fulfillment to live a happy life. And of course, money is always going to be a motivating factor in like securing your home, where you live, paying your bills. I'm not saying it in that sense, but I think when I started this job or like started seeing a little bit of money, I lost sight of like fulfilling myself. And like I just said, I partied nonstop because it made me a lot of money. I toured a lot, sold a lot of merch, did a lot of shows, had a lot of fun, but there was no sense of fulfillment for me. It just, I saw, okay, I'm growing, which means more money, more money, more money. And money isn't going to fulfill you in the ways that you think it is. Of course, having a stable amount of money and being comfortable, that is not what I'm talking about. Like being comfortable will change your life. Struggling is a whole different ballpark. And I was there and it was awful. But like having an excessive amount of money isn't going to fulfill you in ways that like true fulfillment will, of like being around people that you love, spending quality time, having a job that you actually care about or feel like you're doing something or changing something, or helping people. Like money's not going to do that. Surely it's great to like be able to go shopping once in a while or like have a nice apartment or have a crazy house or like do these fun things, but it doesn't fulfill you in the same way as I think like just like ethical things or just like moral things. Like I find so much more fulfillment in doing stuff like this, like actually talking or sitting down and getting to meet you guys and have stories with you or meaningful conversations rather than I did like jumping on a stage and partying or like regardless of how popping I was in that time, like you would look at that as more successful because of more money and like how popular I was. But compared to where I'm at now in my actual like messaging, it's just way more fulfilling. And it's a totally different thing. So don't let money be your only driving factor in the decisions that you make career-wise and for your future. Watch the movie Materialist as well. Super fucking weird movie. I don't think anyone would watch it if it wasn't Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and Chris, what the hell is his name? Evans, Chris Evans. No one would watch it if it wasn't those three. But essentially it's just Dakota Johnson like battling between the super rich guy that like makes her feel good, is nice, is cute, and her ex who they struggle so much over money. He's essentially broke, but he loves her so much. It's like that. It's the old tale. It's like, do you want to marry rich or do you want to marry happy? Same with like Little Women. But you watch it and just be like, damn, you really can have all the money in the world and be the loneliest, saddest person in the world. I was like there. It's so crazy. You really just need to base things off of how they make you feel inside rather than what they show on the outside. 13. There's no such thing as a perfect relationship. And this is what I am struggling with right now because I am literally last night at dinner with my friends. We're sitting in the West Village. I don't know why it was the fucking couple street. Everyone's walking by, holding hands with the most cutest couples. And I have this look of disdain on my face. Like, I'm disgusted. I'm like, guys, what is wrong with me? I am disgusted by couples. I am disgusted by the idea of a man. I'm disgusted. Like, I just think that there's no such thing as like a good relationship or a good man. And I have it all twisted from being like tainted. But there's a difference between a fairy tale relationship and a realistic, healthy relationship. And I think as women and men too, I think they both do it, or we both do it. We compare so much to the things that we see online, the things that we watch, the shit that we read, of like this fairy tale relationship. And it just doesn't exist. So we hold our partners to such like great like expectations. And I did this. I literally will never shut up about my college ex. Like he was such a great person. And so was my ex after him. Like they were such great people. They were such great partners, but it didn't feel like that. And granted, I was younger. It didn't feel like that fairy tale perfect relationship. So I fucked it up and would like ruin those relationships or think that there was something better out there. And if you have someone that treats you well, loves you, respects you, cares for you, you enjoy spending time with them, that is the perfect relationship. Like there's not going to be this Prince Charming that's going to sweep you off your feet or like a Cinderella that's going to come in and check every single box. You have to remember that you don't check everyone else's box either. Like you listening to this podcast, you can't have all of these checks if you don't check everyone else's boxes. We're just human. So I think I'm really having a hard time realizing that one. And I know it's true that there's no perfect relationship. And I keep yearning for it and being like, no, there's going to be this like special guy that is better than the rest, that is going to change everything or how I view men. And I just don't think that's true. And I think it's a very tainted way to look at things. And I'm speaking to myself for that one. 14, your parents aren't superheroes. I spent so much time in college upset or kind of straining my relationship with my parents or just ignoring them because I didn't like the way that they handled some situations growing up. And I think it's because when you're younger, you just view them as these people that aren't even human. They're just like you're everything. They're superheroes. They can do no wrong. When they do wrong, your world comes crashing down. And you really have to take a step back and realize that it's your parents' first time living too. And they feel pain and emotions the same way you do. Just because they have a child doesn't mean that they don't experience the same feelings that you do. Like, I used to not be able to fathom that, like, when my parents were fighting, like, they would fight really bad. And I would always pick my dad's side because I was always such like, just like a daddy's girl, I guess. I was just so like in my dad's pocket. And my mom was very much like the breadwinner growing up. She worked like 3 jobs and I stayed home with my dad. So I think I had like this internalized resentment towards my mom because I didn't have a relationship with her growing up. So I always would take my dad's side. And now that I'm older, I could see how wrong my dad was in so many situations. But I would lash out on my mom. I would like not hear her out on literally things that we go through now with men or with relationships. And it's like you just pick one of your parents' side because that's the way that you're feeling, but you're not taking yourself out of it. Fuck, those are my parents, taking it out and being like, oh, these are just humans. How would I feel in my mom's shoes? How would I feel in my dad's shoes? You really have to take a step back because I almost like fucked up my relationship with my parents forever from the way that I treated them and kind of idolized them and then took them off a pedestal in college when they got a divorce and like a bunch of messy shit happened. And that's unfair and it would have like ruined my life and my relationship with them. So your parents are not superheroes. I think that's really important to know in your 20s and especially in high school. All right, guys, quick commercial break. If you are in school, if you are a student, I assume that you are using that brain and you know how to use it and use it for all the right things. So you should definitely use it for Uber One, okay? It's a new program. It's just for students. So if you're heading back to campus this fall, if you're on campus right now, this is the best way to save on food and on rides. Plus, it comes with a lot of perks that you might not know about. For example, you can get $0 delivery fees, up to 10% off eligible orders, and 6% back in Uber credits on rides. This is like genuinely amazing. It's a no-brainer. Use that education and get Uber One. You can also get free items on eligible orders throughout the week, like a free taco from Taco Bell every Tuesday. That's fucking awesome. A free chicken sandwich every Friday from Popeyes, and more deals every day of the week from brands that you love. Try it now and get your first 4 weeks free. Oh my God, like this just keeps getting better every time I read it. Become an Uber One for Students member and start saving on Uber and Uber Eats. Eligibility and member terms apply. Go check it out. No brainer. Let's get back to the episode. Next one, 15. Invest. Oh my gosh. There's nothing really more I can say other than invest. If you have money, if you have savings, if you have things that you can put aside, doesn't matter if it's $200 or $200,000, invest your money in something. Invest your money because it is investing in yourself and your future. And like I talked about in the beginning of this podcast with the job market and just where everything stands right now, I just feel like there's no safety net anymore. Things move so fastly and everything feels like it could go away in a moment. So just invest in yourself by investing your money or investing in properties, because if you don't, you can fuck yourself so hard in the long run. Just be really smart with investments and try to learn about it. Try to talk about it with people in your life, because I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. I have someone do it for me because I'm an idiot. If I didn't have someone do it for me, I would talk to family members about it. I would talk to the women in my life that invest. I would talk to someone about it. Don't just do it off a whim. Learn about it, research about it, but definitely invest. You're going to feel so much better about yourself and you're going to thank yourself a million times over 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Next up, we have 16. Some people / relationships are not meant to be forever. And I think this really, it's not really towards romantic relationships. I think that's a given. We all know we're not going to realistically marry our first boyfriends. I'm sure there are a percentage of people listening that did, and that's great, but majority of people don't. A lot of people, I think the average amount of relationships for people is 6 or 7 throughout their lifetime. So obviously romantic relationships aren't going to last forever, but It's important to realize also that friendships and even like family relationships, they aren't always meant to be forever. And it's really hard when you feel like you have a strong bond with someone or um, a history tie. I think as people with age and with time, if you are tied to a person for a certain amount of years, for a certain amount of time, you feel like you have to be tied to them for life. And you're constantly like, well, if we went through all of these years together and they've been by my side or we've been with each other through all of these years together, then we have to continue doing all these next chapters together. And that's just not true. You outgrow people, and that's okay to acknowledge, and it's okay to accept that. I've had so many friendships over, you know, the course of my life that were there for certain times, certain time periods, and that like fizzle out, dwindle out. Like when you're in certain jobs, you have friends that you need, that need you, that you lean on each other, and then you don't have that job anymore. You don't do the same thing, so it fizzles out. You can be going through something at the same time as someone, so you have a trauma bond, and you feel like, oh my gosh, we're like kind of connected for life. No, you guys just maybe went through something together. You helped each other. That's what we do as humans. It doesn't have to last forever. It feels unhealthy towards you if it feels like it's toxic, or if it just feels like it's pulling you in the wrong direction, then it's not meant to last forever. And that's okay to acknowledge. Not everything is meant to last forever. That's not saying that there aren't relationships that are supposed to be forever, but there definitely are ones that aren't. Next, 17. Rejection is redirection. Whenever I would fail or I would get rejected in any way, shape, or form, whether it be like career wise, whether it be friend wise, whether it be romantically, it used to shatter me and like shatter my ego more than you could ever explain. I think that just happens when you're young. Like you're just not used to being rejected like in such like a public way. I think as you get older, like rejection is public, whether it's career wise, whether you're at a bar, whether you go on a couple dates and it doesn't go well, they ghost you, like it just becomes more of like a public humiliation ritual, and you get used to it. But every single time I've been rejected, it has redirected me into where I'm at now. And it like sucks, of course, while you're going through it. But if you don't keep a positive mindset when negative things happen to you, you're just going to fall into a negative mindset constantly. And you really are the way that you talk about yourself. You really are the way that, your energy is in a room. Like if you're constantly negative, your life is going to be negative. It's like, it seems so obvious, but people just like I used to just be the most negative person ever. And I'm like, why is everything wrong? Why am I always depressed? Why is everything so sad? Why do I hate myself? It's because you're constantly saying you hate yourself, you hate your life, you think you're making all the wrong decisions. It's like, surely some things can go wrong, but stop being so negative. That brings me to the next one of self-deprecation is embarrassing and creates negative energy. Like I used to think self-deprecation was the funniest form of comedy. I think it's like at like a basis level, like if you're just like in high school or like there's nothing like really funny about you, self-deprecating yourself is funny. Like it's like, oh, this is so, it's just like it's caveman humor, and it creates such a negative like just aura around you. If you're constantly talking negative about yourself, everything around you is going to be negative. You're putting negative energy not only out there but onto yourself. Like you're speaking negative words into existence. And of course, here and there I'll be like I said in this podcast, like I was an embarrassing party girl that my whole life revolved around drinking. Like that was my personality trait. Sure, that's self-deprecating, but that's also like true. Like I'm not just going to sit here and like make self-deprecating jokes. It's like it gets sad at a point. It's like making actual jokes. Stop making fun of yourself. I used to do it too much, and it's just such a negative way to live. Next, 19. You don't always have to have the last word. Having the last word has always gotten me into trouble. I think a lot of things are better unsaid. I think everything always unfolds in the way that it's supposed to, and everyone's true colors, true stories always come to show, whether it takes years, it takes months, or, it doesn't necessarily happen for everyone, but others will start to see, okay, you were telling the truth. I see your side of things. You don't always have to get the last word because it can make you look stupid. And it also is just dragging things out that don't have to happen. Like, I used to be the girl that's like, if I'm getting in a confrontation with someone, I have to say the last thing or I have to get the last dig in. And it's like, at what cost? For what reason? Next is people. Oh, we said this one. People don't make the same mistakes 3 times. That's a pattern. This person is most likely not going to change. 22. There isn't always an answer to why. I've spent so many of like sleepless nights questioning things that have happened to me, questioning things that people have done to me, asking myself, but why did they do this? Why did this happen? Genuinely, you will kill yourself asking yourself, why did they do this? How could they do that? Why was there a motive to the way that they treated me? Did I do something wrong? Like, you're just going to run yourself in circles. You're never going to be able to get inside someone else's head. And especially if this relationship or whatever you're going through has stopped with the other person, there's no good that is going to come out of constantly asking yourself, why did this happen? Why did this happen? There isn't always an answer to why. 23, don't buy the designer. I just think it's so stupid. Of course, if you're like a material person and you I don't know, are obsessed with like buying fucking designer shit, I just like think it's so stupid. I just genuinely think it's such a waste of money. Spend your money on traveling. If you you could buy a plane ticket in a hotel for a week across the world for the price of a Chanel bag. It's so crazy to me. Spend your money on experiences, not material things. And I wish I learned that younger because I would have probably $200,000 more saved if I didn't spend all my fucking money on stupid designer shit that 1, I've lost, 2, don't like, 3, is just like, who am I trying to prove myself to? Like, I use my friggin' Amazon bag every single day. Next, 24, therapy is hot. Seriously, I wish more men were in therapy. I think everyone deserves therapy. I think everyone will benefit from therapy. Even if you think you haven't been through something overtly traumatic, therapy is amazing and everyone should do it. And everyone should get their feelings out and learn how to cope with the way that they handle things. 25, education is never a waste of time. I don't mean education in the sense of like you have to go get your college degree or you have to, go get your master's. I think certainly if you want to be a hairdresser, going to college probably isn't going to benefit you, but education in the sense of you can learn on your own. You can buy books, you can read, you can immerse yourself in different cultures. You can pick up any podcast and listen to it, historical, nonfiction. Like, education is never a waste of time. It's also just fun to have fun facts and be a knowledgeable person. The more you learn about the world and the people around you, the better you're going to function in the world with people around you. And 26 is you cannot assume everyone has the same heart as you. I think this will save you a lot of questioning, a lot of heartbreak, and a lot of confusion. Obviously, we're all different people, but at the end of the day, I think for a long time I assumed like everyone in my life would handle situations the same way I did or like have the same reactions and just like empathy or love for people the same way that you do. And that's just never going to be the case. So never have expectations of someone having the same exact reactions to negative experiences as you. I think that will get you falling short a lot and upset you a lot. I've learned, and I know it's going to sound kind of pessimistic, even like before I'm saying it, but I have learned like to kind of have expectations quite low when it comes to like negative situations and how people react. If you expect everyone to have like this amazing, perfect reaction, sometimes it will make those relationships unmendable if you expect someone to act a certain way. If you just have like a base level of, okay, I have no idea how this person's going to react to what's going on, it's easier to sympathize with them and also work through whatever problem you're going through. Yeah, kind of just have like a base level expectation. Not everyone's going to have the same exact reaction and heart as you, which kind of sucks, but it's also a good skill to learn. Those were 26 things that I've learned. I could probably do 45 more of those, but I hope that those helped you in any way, shape, or form. Genuinely therapeutic. And like I said, I'll leave the link to that journaling book below because it has changed my life. And I think journaling like actually changes the game in a lot of ways, shapes and forms. So check that out. Super easy read. And I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. I'm so excited for next week. Talk to you next week. Bye.